Hey kids, it's Papa. You ready to explore the Bible? All right. Well, turn with me to Ruth chapter 2, the book of Ruth chapter 2. Now, remember, Naomi, the mother, and Ruth, the daughter in law, had come back to Israel because their husbands had died and they came back to Bethlehem. And I told you we'd talk about Bethlehem on Friday. We're not. We'll maybe Monday. But the point is that they came back and they really had nothing. Okay? So they come back and they don't have any money to buy food. And so it was about the time of the barley harvest. And there was a law that God had instituted in Israel that when they harvested a field, they were not to harvest on the corners. They were to come around and leave the corners unharvested. And if they dropped some of the harvest, they weren't to pick it up. They were to leave it there so that the poor could come along and they could get the corners and they could pick up. And so, it was a thing that it was their way of taking care of the poor. See, now the poor still had to come out and do the work and do the harvest, but at least they'd get something, and it was their way. And one of the ways that a wealthy person could demonstrate that they, were taking care of the poor is to leave a lot of the corners unharvested, and that was considered a generous thing to do. Well, there was a man who was very wealthy in the area, and he happened to be a kinsman to Elimelech and Naomi, and therefore to Ruth as well. And it just happened that Ruth went out to glean. And by the way, they called it gleaning. When you go and pick up things that other people have left behind, that's called gleaning. And she went out to glean, and she just happened to wind up in Boaz's field. Okay, and so she's over there, and a lot of times, the harvesters who were paid and they worked for the landowner Boaz. Sometimes they would shoo the gleaners off and say, no, you have to wait until we're gone, and they would kind of treat them badly. But Boaz came out to the field that day, and he saw this woman that was gleaning, and he asked the guy that was in charge of all the laborers, "Who is that?" And the guy says, "Oh, that's Ruth. She is the daughter-in-law of Naomi. You remember Naomi? She's related to you." And Boaz thought, I heard about her. I heard that she was a Moabitish gal who was married to one of the sons, and that she came back and she's taking care of Naomi. And that's a good thing. And this woman must have plenty of character. And so Boaz said to the guy that was in charge of all the laborers, "Don't go and treat her badly. Don't shoo her away. Matter of fact, I want you to make sure that she goes away with a huge harvest. I want you to leave the corners for her. I want you to even drop on purpose. I want you to drop handfuls of the stalks with all of the barley on the end of it. I want you to drop them on purpose so it's easy for her to get a lot. And then when she gets thirsty, I want you to let her come and drink from the laborer's water supply. And at lunch, I want her to come and eat with the laborers." And the guy said, "Okay." And so Boaz went and talked with Ruth and said, you don't need to go and glean at anybody else's field. You just stick by our field, and our laborers are going to take care of you, and feel free to drink from our water barrel, and also at lunch, why don't you come over and share lunch with our laborers, and Ruth was just kind of shocked because that's not what normally happened. And she said, "Wow, okay, I will." And so she was kind of amazed. And she came home with more barley that day than anyone ever expected that she would. Now, You say, why would Boaz do that? Well, we don't know exactly what was going on in Boaz's mind. But when God tells us to take care of the poor and the unfortunate, the widows and the orphans, and Ruth was a widow, and Naomi was a widow. And so Boaz was doing the biblical thing, the right thing, to take care of them. But he was going a little bit out of his way. He was going the extra mile. He was trying a little bit harder to take care of her. Now, it may be that she was good looking and he thought, I like the way she looks. Yeah, it may have been the case. But I think it was more because he respected the character that she had shown, and because of that, he was going to demonstrate biblical character towards her. Okay? And you know what? I think that's a good thing. And we need to watch for people who demonstrate good character, and we need to make friends with them, okay? When you choose friends that are good people. Because honestly, your friends are going to determine who you become. You realize that? And so you need to be a person of good character, and you need to look for people of good character so that you can have the right kind of friends. And I think this is what Boaz was doing. He was saying, you know what? I'm going to reward her character. I'm going to reward what she has done. And you know what? I bet you God will reward me for doing that as well. And so look for friends. Look for people with good character. And when you find them, be people with good character. And God will bless you for that. Okay? All right. Hey, love you guys. See you later. Bye-bye.